Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, and yes, you read the title of this video. I'm giving my thoughts on the writers slash actors strike. Yep, two strikes that occurred throughout most of this year, and as of now, they've finally come to an end, and thank goodness, negotiations have been settled. Yeah, it's good to hear. And, I'm sure some of you are probably wondering, like, why would you be doing this after it's all over? Well, I don't think it matters if I would have done this when they were still going on or after. And in this case, I'm doing this video and you're watching it now that both strikes are over. So it doesn't matter, and it still makes sense to do this. I'm sure anybody would do something like this, not just me. But yeah, so my thoughts on what had been happening again throughout most of this year. I mean, it wasn't really going on throughout the entire year, not all the months. You know what I'm saying? Like going on around the summertime, and it finished up. It finally came to an end at winter. So, fall slash winter, you get my point. Ever since it first began with the writer's strike, and then a little bit later, boom, the actor's strike started to rise, and both strikes were going on, and unfortunately, some materials, from shows and movies were put on hold, and anything else that was, already finished and filmed, well, some, of course, came out this year, and some have been pushed back to a year or so. You get my point. I tell you, because this, of course, both strikes were very frustrating with what had been going on, and all the protesters, and those who, have stood up to the writers and actors, I too, I support, the writers and actors and, what they were fighting for because of AI. Yes, AI. And by the way, as you're watching this, there are chapters into this. So, so we'll start with chapter 1, which being AI. So, the whole thing of AI and how, AI can take, people's jobs away, especially for writers and actors. Well, let's face it, in the early days, I want to say around, when computers started to show up, around the 1970s and 80s, especially the late 1970s, people started to panic that the machines were, smarter than they were. Well, first off, there are plenty of people out there who are smart, some geniuses. You get my point. And, now this is, this kind of thing had happened once again, and, it's understandable, and I completely understand how those feel about AI, but here's this, AI has, for a little while, not been used the right way. It's been used the wrong way, and some people have taken AI a bit too far, specifically when it comes to, recreating, voices, you know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh, plenty of those I have especially seen on YouTube. I do have a friend or two that has used AI doing stuff like SpongeBob, Mickey Mouse, you get my point. Especially, when it's been going too far, using some voice actors' voices with AI in some projects. No, that's wrong. Again, that's the wrong way. That's the bad way. And you just gotta feel sorry for those, even those who are still alive, and their voices, jeez. But I will say this, AI, and I've noticed this, and just bear with me, sometimes AI has been used in the good way / the right way. The best example, in Disney Plus's Star Wars series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, James Earl Jones's voice was recreated with the use of AI for Darth Vader. James Earl Jones himself signed off, his voice, because obviously James Earl Jones knows that, at a certain point, because, obviously when it came to, here's the thing. It was coming to at a point where James Earl Jones, because he is getting up there. In fact, he is. He's now in his 90s. Man, just still going strong. But he really doesn't have, the voice energy, I guess you can say, to voice Darth Vader as he used to. And as of now, he signed away his voice for them to recreate in AI, and whenever they use Darth Vader for anything Star Wars, they'll have James Earl Jones's voice. Because, aside from some of, other voice actors who have voiced Darth Vader, most notably in some video games, they can never top off the original Darth Vader voice, James Earl Jones. He is the superior voice of Darth Vader. He is the voice of Darth Vader, no doubt about it. So, obviously, James Earl Jones, as I said, he understands and he knows that, because his voice would, for Darth Vader, if you get what I'm saying, I don't know what to say and how to put it at words, but I'm sure you get my point. So there's that. Also, more on Disney Plus, Marvel's Secret Invasion. In that, the opening credits, the intro for Secret Invasion, the animation to it, that was all AI. That was all AI's doing, making the animation for Secret Invasion. And you know what? It makes sense, because when you think about it, and the purpose of Secret Invasion, yeah, it works. It makes sense. So I feel that, for AI being used in Marvel's Secret Invasion, it was done the right way. Because, again, when you think about it, when watching Secret Invasion, and you know the plot and what's going on, especially because of the Skrulls. So there's that. And that's another thing. AI also being used, not just for voices, but for animation, artwork. Look, at least, AI can, what's the word, make some pretty nice, detailed, accurate artwork, I should say. But still, there are plenty of good artists out there who can make fantastic artwork, okay? I tell you, because, we have to use AI in a certain way, and we can't go too far with this. You get my point? Because, it's not right. I know exactly what it is that I'm thinking of, and I'm sure you too. It's just, wrong with what some people what they've been doing using AI. So there's that. And, golly, I don't know what the name of this upcoming movie is. I think it's a sequel to something that I, of course, am not really familiar with. I read that that AI would be used to write the script. Okay, well, that's a bit far-fetched, but I don't know. If you know what it is that I'm talking about, if any of you had heard about this and read that article, again, I'm not really familiar with, the movies and the sequels, and, frankly, I don't think they're any good. I don't know, from what I can tell, they might not be any good, fantastic films. So, there's that. So, with that being said on AI, it needs to be used in a certain way, the right way, and the good way. As I've been saying, AI has, the way it's been used, recently and early this year, just not in the right way. Not at all. Come on, we got to be careful when it comes to the use of AI and not go too far. That's what's important. So there's that. Okay, so with that out of the way, Chapter 2, and that being movies and shows, upcoming projects that have been put on hold, and, as of now, especially now with both strikes over, well, now they're soon enough to get back in production and to be finished up. Well, the best examples on movies, that is, well, and as you saw in the thumbnail and with the green screen background, you can see that I have Beetlejuice and Deadpool in the green screen background and for this thumbnail. Yeah, Beetlejuice 2 and Deadpool 3. These two upcoming film sequels I've been really looking forward to, and I'm sure some of you have been looking forward to them as well. Because it had been years, and on the subject of Beetlejuice 2, it had been years since, there have been talks, and attempts to, make a sequel to Beetlejuice. And as of now, with it finally happening, and of course, it's been filmed, most of it, but of course, when the writer's strike, came, and especially the actor's strike, that's when it was put on halt. And, well, I mean, even when the writer's strike was happening, because what was being filmed at the time and for this year, well, they kept, they resumed their schedule and being filmed, but of course, until the actor's strike, smackdown happened, and everything was put on halt, and yeah. But of course, as of now, very soon, for Beetlejuice 2, obviously it's going to get back to, finishing up. It's actually, because another thing is, and if any of you heard about this as well, Tim Burton stated that Beetlejuice 2 is 99% finished. 99% finished. So basically, they have one more shot to film, and they'll be done completely. And I'm pretty sure as of now, what they've filmed so far, they finished up, editing it and putting it together, And the same thing for Deadpool 3, because now coming to Deadpool 3, well, because with it being affected by both the writer's strike and the actor's strike, well, obviously, with the actor's strike, it's clear as to why. But for the writer's strike, with it getting affected by the writer's strike, Ryan Reynolds was not allowed to improvise as Deadpool. Golly, and this is Deadpool we're talking about. He's like one of the kings of breaking the fourth wall, pretty much. And he was not allowed to improvise. That totally sucks. But I'm pretty sure that as of now, and very soon, they'll get back to, finishing up Deadpool 3. And I read that they are to finish up Deadpool 3 right before Thanksgiving. I'm pretty sure as though that, I guess when it comes to finishing up, editing the film and, I don't know, any voice work that some actors have to do, no doubt about it that, they're going to put some, improvising stuff with Deadpool, that Ryan Reynolds would do. And maybe, just maybe, and I heard that, I saw someone mention this on Facebook when I saw, one of these articles about Deadpool 3, one of the latest articles of Deadpool 3 that I saw on Facebook, and a commenter mentioned this, and you know what? Yeah, it may very well happen. Maybe Deadpool in Deadpool 3 will joke about the strike, and how it did affect, this upcoming movie. That would be so obvious. But, we'll just have to wait and see, because you never know when it comes to the Marvel films, and especially Deadpool and what, the guys at Deadpool, and especially Ryan Reynolds, what they have in store. Obviously, something good. And obviously, for Deadpool 3, we're going to expect some really awesome stuff. Of course, they're keeping it top secret, as, any Marvel film would be kept top secret, so we'll be in for a big surprise. So, more on Deadpool 3, because I'm sure as though that, knowing Ryan Reynolds, he would do his very best, even though, because he was not allowed to improvise, he would still, do his very best, performing as Deadpool, and still, of course, bringing some hilarious stuff. You get my point. But again, as of now, I'm sure they're going to throw in some improvised stuff. No doubt about it. And by the way, because obviously, and because the strikes were still going on, especially the actors' strike, the release date for Deadpool 3, it was bound to happen, and kind of was for a little bit, but of course, as of now, thankfully, it's going to be the official release date for Deadpool 3 is much better. But at one point, it was slated to be out around next year during the fall/winter, but it's been moved back up to the summertime as it was originally supposed to be. Like, that's when it was originally supposed to be out, and thank goodness that, yep, it will be coming out in the summertime. At first, it was going to be in the month of May, but now it's been moved to 2 months later, July. So that's still good. And yeah, because Ryan Reynolds confirmed this by, posting like a picture of Dogpool. Well, I'm not surprised. Like, how many other Deadpools there would be? I mean, hey, look at the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse films. There's an example. And coming back to Beetlejuice 2, well, there hasn't been any, currently, and as of this recording, and as you're watching this, there haven't been any more updates on what's going on with Beetlejuice 2. All that we knew, and as I mentioned, 99% of the film has been finished, and hopefully it may still come out on the date it's supposed to in September. And again, they just have one more shot to film, so it can't be too bad. And it also comes to the music and score for Beetlejuice 2 as well as Deadpool 3. So there's that. Okay, so going with those two films out of the way, like the other films and TV shows, well, some that are of course completed, like 2 Pixar films that obviously are already by now finished. One of them will still be coming out next year, but the other 2 years from now. Are you kidding me? Even when both strikes were over, why? Even now that they're over, you could still move it to next year, maybe a little bit later in the next year, like in the fall, because Inside Out 2 is supposed to be coming out, next year in the summer. So why can't the second upcoming Pixar film, if I'm getting the title right, Elio, I think I'm saying it right, I don't know. You can correct me on that. It's now slated for 2025. Like, come on, as of now, you can move it to the fall. It wouldn't hurt. And besides, Pixar has had plenty of their films out during, the fall and Thanksgiving. So we can have 2 Pixar films coming out in 1 year. They have done that before, have they not? And so other movies and shows that have been affected and some on hold, well, those are the only films I can think of that I just mentioned for, on the subject of movies, but TV shows, well, some that, I can think of, say, CW's Riverdale, because that was still going on when the strikes began, and obviously they finished filming, the entirety of the last season of Riverdale, so that was done with. Shows that they've been still filming this year, but obviously they've been put on hold. Talk shows, that's another thing, but now they're back too. And I assume some of the shows that they're resuming filming and episodes coming out, so there's that. And, especially some shows that managed to still come out this year and currently, and, to be more specific, recently, I can think of, say, the Frasier reboot. Yeah. But, and speaking of Frasier, and on the subject of Paramount Plus, one sitcom show that I think for a lot of us, we were disappointed in, and even when the strikes began, obviously at first, its next season wouldn't happen until, both strikes were over. Well, I mean, if I remember correctly, I think this was announced, very shortly after the writer's strike ended. It's about iCarly. Yeah, the iCarly reboot series, as we all know, got freaking canceled after only 3 seasons, and for season 3 to end off on a cliffhanger, jeez. Don't believe me, I am upset about this too. I very much am. I really enjoyed the iCarly reboot, especially when it came up to seasons 2 and 3. And for them to cancel it right smack down after a cliffhanger. Jeez. And even when, as of now, the strikes are over. You gotta be kidding me. Also, more on Paramount Plus because Season 3 of Strange New Worlds, because I remember reading this. I remember reading this early on and before I recorded this, that Season 3 very soon will be filming, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, because they didn't start filming Season 3. I'm pretty sure that they were about to, but then, boom, the strikes happened. So there's that. Well, that's all I can really think of on shows. And yeah, honestly, at this point, that's all I can really think of to talk about in this video. Really. But, you know, to close this off, for all of us, we're happy and thankful that both strikes have finally come to a close. They managed to make an agreement and negotiations, and that's good. That's good. And again, as I've been saying, we need to be careful using AI. Not use it in the wrong way, the bad way. We need to use it in the certain right way. That's what's important. And thus, you know, I am telling you guys this. You know, if any of you use AI, and I have at times, especially because I've most notably did use AI a little bit for, say, YouTube poops. I'm pretty sure, like, there's nothing really wrong with using it for YouTube poops. No one said anything about it, and if anybody even knows what YouTube poop is, that's the thing. But overall, you know, any of you who have used AI, you know, just try to be careful to use it, okay? Whether if you listen to me or not, just, you know, just be careful and just, you know, I warn you, there may be a chance that, you know what, someone will come after you, you will get sued, and that's what's happened, you know, with those who have, you know, used some current voice actors' voices for AI. You get my point? So that's the message I bring to you, and, you know, all that I've talked about in this video. My true, honest thoughts on everything that has been happening with both strikes, the actors and writers strikes, and AI being used, everything that I've talked about. And I thank you very much for listening. So with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video giving my thoughts on both strikes, writers and actors, talking about AI, everything. Leave comments on what you have to say, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, and peace out.